Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of What the World Podcast. I'm your host, Darnell.
And I'm Brittany.
So, Brittany, what are we doing today?
Today we're going to do the movie review of Trap.
Yes, directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
I liked the movie. I thought it was pretty good how it was set up at the concert. And it was basically him trying to figure out how he was going to escape. But I thought some things were a little ridiculous. Like all of a sudden they had that tunnel that led to the neighbor's house to escape. And stuff like that, and then how all of a sudden he was able to escape that limo when the car was surrounded by cops and stuff like that. I thought some of it was a little ridiculous, but overall I liked the movie. I thought it was good, and it was an interesting take how it went, how it was the perspective of the bad guy, and you were trying to capture him.
Yeah. They made him like super cunning and stuff like that. He's like
he was a
super
good father.
Yeah. And like he's super sly, so he can just like he's quick to think on his feet. That's how he was getting out of all those situations and stuff like that. So yeah, I like that about that. So I half like this movie.
Okay.
So the part where I stopped liking this movie is actually when he left the concert.
Yes, that was the same year.
Yeah.
That was the same year. The concert part was really good.
Yes.
And then when he left it, that's why I was saying the tunnel, when he escaped the car, all that was just ridiculous. But the concert part was really good.
Yeah, all the concert stuff I was liking, like him trying to figure out, all right, where can I go? Him like, testing the security, saying, he put the bottles in the fryer to blow up into the girl's face just so he can get through. All this stuff. So he's doing all this crazy stuff. I'm liking that. I'm liking it all. It's very original and all that stuff. Until he leaves the concert, and then it just gets stupid with the Raven girl, and like now she is a part of this. She's like, going one upping on him and all that. So I did not like that at all. I don't know. I didn't like any of that stuff. Even when he's in the limo, just being dumb in the limo. Why would he just did what he did? He could have just went anywhere. He decides to go straight into like traffic and all that stuff. I don't know. It was dumb. The ending didn't kind of make any sense because like, okay, he broke out of handcuffs, but you're still locked up inside of a police car.
And you got police following the back of it. So if you were to escape, you would be busted immediately. Yeah,
because those things, they go straight into the police station, like the back of the loading dock of the police station.
Yeah.
So you open it up, there's going to be like 5 or 6 cops right there. So,
exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, I liked all that stuff up until that point.
The concert was good.
Yeah.
Like, I liked it. Like, you figured out he was the bad guy, like, when he went to the bathroom and he was looking at his phone. And I'm like, okay, this guy is the bad guy. This is who we're following. He's a good father. Yeah. It shows his good side. He's very charismatic and stuff like that. And then I liked how he was talking to the salesman, the black guy.
Yeah.
That guy was funny. I liked him at the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
That was funny. He's like, I ain't gonna be nice to anyone anymore.
I ain't talking to nobody. Yeah, I thought one thing what they could have. Well, I did like the comedy in it. Like I did like the comedy. I think what they should have done, and I thought they were going to do this. It was like, all right, he's doing all this stuff to get away. He's kind of leaving his daughter and all this stuff, and then right when he finally reaches the door to leave, his daughter's behind, and he has to either figure out should he escape or come back to save his daughter. And he should have like about to leave and then turn around and go back to his daughter, and he ends up getting killed or something like that.
Yeah,
I thought that would have been a better ending for the movie, but it just as soon as he left and the whole situation with the singer, it was just dumb. Obviously, that's his daughter, M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. She directed what was the other movie we watched? The Watchers.
Yeah,
she directed that. But yeah, the whole situation with her, like him and back and forth with her, was just dumb. And here's another dumb part. Like he's super smart, right? He is doing all this stuff, and then he goes in and he's like, "Oh yeah, it was me. I'm the killer."
Yeah, he could have thought of something on the fly.
Yeah.
For real. I
Yeah.
mean,
He could have
come
just
on.
said, "Hey, can we ride with you? Can we, made an excuse to go ride with her."
Why
you
didn't
know?
he go along with the excuse that his daughter was sick? Like
Yeah.
he was pulling off and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, can you drive us to our car? That would be great,"
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I guess they wouldn't have the rest of the movie if they didn't
Yeah,
do
it
that.
was just-
so they took the wrong turn.
Yeah, it was just a dumb. Like, he was super smart all throughout the movie, and then he makes this dumb mistake to say, "Hey, I'm the killer."
They could have definitely
Yeah.
have thought of something better
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get him busted. But
Yeah, it was that was the dumb part that really. Yeah, there's a lot of dumb stuff. But yeah, so yeah, I liked half. You kind of liked it a little bit more, I guess.
because I really what the concert part was really good. Like I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't like the whole tunnel. That tunnel aspect thing was just stupid.
Yeah.
The whole part where he escaped the limo when they was surrounded by cops. I don't see how that was possible. And then I didn't like how when she was talking to her fans, all of a sudden a fan
Yeah.
lived
Oh my
by
gosh.
where
Yeah.
the guy was captured, where
Yeah.
he was holding him. I'm like, that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, that was just kind of dumb too.
Everything, but if you notice, everything I named was after the concert.
Yeah. I didn't mind the tunnel thing because you would think he's a killer, so he would have some kind of out. But also, the whole situation with the wife thing, like how that was just kind of like out of nowhere. The
Yeah.
wife suspect he was cheating. Come to find out, she set him up and all that stuff. You know,
Yeah.
that would make sense. Like I would like that better if they actually built up the wife.
Yeah, but
You know,
they
we,
didn't. They
we didn't know
building
anything
for-
about the wife until when they got home. You know,
Exactly.
So it was like, we don't care about the wife. Why would we care about this? Unless what they should have done is during the concert have she constantly calling in or something like that, and they're constantly talking to the wife, so we can learn about the wife a little bit more instead of, maybe the wife is trying to look. Maybe she's doing this now. Maybe the
That's a
wife
good
is doing
idea.
all this during the concert. Maybe she's looking for stuff, and then she finds it. Then she called. You know what I'm saying?
That would have been a good idea
Yeah.
to have her constantly call in.
Yeah, or something, so we know who the wife is. Just out of nowhere, now she's the person we should care about at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, some stuff was not feeling it, but yeah, you want to break this down?
Yeah.
All
So
right.
it starts off with Riley singing in the car. They're
Mm-hmm.
driving to the concert. And you see them parking, and she's rushing them in to go in. And then they walk up and they see the vans where the celebrity comes on,
Mhm.
Raven.
Yep.
And a guy comes out of it at first, and they were cheering, and they're like, "No, that's not her, boo!"
Yeah.
And then she comes out, and she waved at her, and she's all excited and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it goes to them. They're waiting online.
And then we see Josh Hartnett's character. He's looking at security. He's like, "Oh, that's a lot." We see him constantly looking at security as he's going.
Very aware of his surroundings. Very aware. He picked that up immediately.
Yeah.
And then you see people dancing,
Mhm.
and Riley joins in, and they're doing a little dance together, and they're having fun. And she nails the dance because I guess it was one of Raven's signature dance.
Lady Raven. Yep, she joins in. Then he actually noticed more high level security. So I'm like, if you're just, if you're supposed to be so like, sly and all this stuff, when you go to a freaking concert, there's no cops there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a lot of police presence at concerts. There's a lot of security. But if you go there and you see a whole bunch of cops, then you should be thinking like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
Um.
And then they're getting something to eat.
Mhm.
And then he sees all the cops, and he's wondering what's going on.
Mhm.
And then Lady Raven goes on stage. So they go to their seats. They have really good seats. They have floor seats. They're right up front.
Mhm.
And then Lady Raven comes on stage, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so thankful to be here," and stuff like that. And she starts singing. And then the dad leaves to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And this is where he's waiting online for the stall.
Mhm.
And when he goes in the stall, this is where you find out he's the bad guy. you see a
Yeah.
picture of the guy.
Yeah, he
What's
pulls
his
his
name?
phone out.
Spencer.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, Spencer. He pulls his phone out and you see a video of this guy sitting in there locked up on a chair, all this stuff. So he's like, okay, he's a villain.
Yeah, and you don't think it at first because he's so caring to his daughter.
Yeah.
Like he definitely lives a double life. And then he's washing his hands, and then he sees a lady. We're not sure who this lady is yet. You find out later on.
Yeah.
But he sees her, and he's like, "What's going on? Why is she here?" And stuff like that. And she disappears, and he's like, "Okay, now I can go back."
Then he, while he's leaving, he runs into a lady, and it's come to find out it's his daughter's friend's mother, Jody's mom. Yeah, and they're talking about like the girls had a falling out or something like that, and I guess the girls, her friends, were making fun of her and stuff like that, and they stopped being friends, and she's trying to get them to be friends again and all this stuff. They were talking about that earlier. What's the daughter's name? Riley. Riley was talking about, hey, the girls were, I'm not friends with them anymore. I'm trying to move on and be, all this stuff. They were trying to. He was like talking to her about it.
And then you see the FBI at the concert.
Yeah.
The cops are lining up everywhere.
Then we go back to the concert and they see Lady Raven. She's talking about
forgiveness.
Yeah, forgiveness. Something about her dad and all this stuff, and her and her dad had problems, and then they forgive him and all this stuff, and she gave some kind of talk that kind of made sense, I guess, with Josh Hartnett's character with his mom and all that stuff. It was something about forgiveness and stuff like that with your parents or something.
And then she has them turn on the lights on their phones, and then she starts singing.
Yeah.
And then they're looking to get a shirt, and they only have one in the specific size that Riley wanted, and they let the other one have it. And the guy at the concession stand or the stand is just like, "Oh, you guys seem like good people. You know what? Come back later. I'll have one on the side for you," and stuff like that.
Yep. Then he pulls the guys to the side. He's like, "Hey, what's going on with all this police here?" And he was like, "All right, don't tell nobody, but you know the butcher." And he goes, "Yeah, this whole concert is just a trap to capture him." And he's like, "Wait, what?" And then he's talking about the only way out is backstage. And they were talking about let's see. Did he talk about? I know they were talking about the passwords and stuff like that. He didn't tell him. That was later. Okay.
That's later.
Okay.
That's when they're in the storage room.
Okay. Yeah. True. So then, what happens next? He was walking around looking for a stand. I put.
Yeah, he's trying to figure out what to do, and then he sees the lady on the stairs.
Yeah.
And he pushes her down the stairs so he can try to escape.
Yeah. He was looking around, sees the girl. She's like kind of wobbly and stuff. And he just pushes her down the stairs.
And all the cops come rushing in.
Yeah.
But then more guards fill up.
Yeah. So he goes downstairs to look. All right, I can get out this way. But no, there's more cops at the door.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Holy crap."
So he couldn't get out. So he went back to his seat. And then
that's when they have the
Parker come to stage.
Yeah, the guy comes to stage, and they come from like where the seats are, and there's like a elevator that comes up, and there's stairs under it, and he keeps talking to his daughter. It's like, "Oh, look, it could be fun. Let's go down there and see where it leads and all that stuff."
And she's like, "No, why would we do that? I'm trying to watch the concert."
He's like, "You're being weird. What's going on?"
Yeah.
So he's like flustered, like, and then I think at one point he actually looks up and he sees like someone being escorted out.
Yeah.
So that's when he goes back to the vendor to get the shirt.
Yep.
And then they didn't have any, so him and the guy walk to the back room to go get the shirts. And while he's grabbing the shirts, he actually steals his ID tag.
Yep.
and then he's showing him the picture of the butcher's victim. He's like, "Oh man, look at him! We cut them all up and all this stuff." um, and then that's when he tells him the safe word, which
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
He's-
Man, Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Hamilton. Yeah, you would remember that. like, like a musical, right? Hamilton's a musical. Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, you never seen that
But I
one?
wrote down Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
That's why I remember.
Oh, okay.
But I actually did remember what it was
Oh,
to
okay.
begin with. I just didn't want to say it before because we didn't get to
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
so.
I actually wrote it down too, Hamilton. So then he has the shirt, and he ends up. This was kind of like just show you how like confident he is. He's using the ID tag to figure out what room he can go into, and then he goes into this employee room, and then you see all these SWAT guys talking and
Yep.
stuff, and then he's just like, "Oh, excuse me, guys, excuse me," and he starts grabbing coffee and stuff and trying to act all nonchalant.
And the one guy even asked him,
Yeah.
"Where's the sugar?"
Yeah.
And he grabs sugar. He's like, "Here, you could take from my secret stash."
Yeah. Yeah. So it just shows you he's super confident, you know.
He's cocky.
Yeah, very cocky. Yeah.
cocky, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's what, and exactly why it like kind of, you know, the whole point. If he's trying to be super smart, though, he's doing things smart, though, you know.
Yeah.
So why would you do something dumb later? But
Yeah. And then when he's leaving, he takes a walkie-talkie
Yeah.
out of the police bag as he's walking by, and no one notices. All those cops in that room, not
Yeah.
one person notices him grabbing a walkie-talkie.
Yep. And then while he's walking out, he runs back into the Jody's mother, and she's talking about, hey, maybe we can get the girls to meet up and all this stuff. And he's like trying to like, you know, rush her out the way, like, hey, you know, all right, yeah, sure, yeah, we can do that, you know. And she was really like pressing it, and then that's when they actually see someone ends up getting arrested a little bit further down. And then you know, then he sees that lady who is the profiler.
Yep.
He sees her, and then he was like, yeah, we, you know, he talks to Jody's mother like, hey, yeah, we can meet up, you know, a certain date and all this stuff. And she was like, okay. And then he finally gets away from them. And that's when he goes back to the concert, right?
Yep, goes back to the concert. He puts the earpiece in on the walkie-talkie, and he's listening to the conversation. And the profiler says he probably has a tattoo on his arm. And so he leaves. He says he forgot his credit card at the stand, and he's listening again. And it says, the profiler says he's probably going to create a distraction.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna pull a fire alarm or something like that. But if that happens, only the women and children get through. All the men
Have to
have to stay.
Yep. And he was about to pull it until he heard that, and he was like, "Oh, let me not pull that."
Yep.
So pretty smart. And then
The fire.
the fire. Yes, he is.
The explosion with the
Yeah.
fire.
Then he sees the girl. He puts bottles in the fryer, and it explodes. And then that's when it explodes in this girl's face. It's kind of messed up. Like he don't give a f about other people.
No.
And then that's when he grabs the apron.
He's the butcher. What do you
Yeah, I
expect
know.
for him to care about other people?
I know,
All he
right?
cares about is his family.
Yeah. So he grabs the apron and then heads up going upstairs. And then there's actually cops on the roof, and then he plays it off. He's like, oh, you know, I just had to get away because one of my coworkers, she got hurt. And then that's when the cop actually radioed it in and realized, oh yeah, he's telling the truth, you know.
Yeah.
So someone did get hurt.
And then they were asking him for the code.
Code, yeah.
What's the code? And he's like, Hamilton.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you have the ID card or whatever
Mm-hmm.
it was? And he took it out. It was somebody's apron. It had their wallet in it.
Yeah.
And he pulled it out and he had the card and he
Yeah.
showed them and they're like, okay, just go back down.
Yeah, and then he asked for the instructions from the profiler that they were, because they had some kind of meeting and stuff like that, and so pretty much the cops were saying, you know, talking about the profiler and all this stuff, the instructions that they had, and then from there he goes back, and then he finds out that they're going to be sending someone, picking someone from the audience to go backstage and stuff like that.
Yep.
So then he runs into the uncle of Lady Raven, and then that's when he tells him about the leukemia story, that his daughter has leukemia and all this stuff. And she's so happy to be here and all this stuff.
Yep.
And he's like, all right, man, have a good one. And he leaves. And then obviously it sets it up, which the person he was talking to is actually M. Night Shyamalan. He's always got to be in the movies, in his own movies. So
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah, yeah.
Adam Sandler usually has to be in his movies.
Yeah, yeah. He's always. I think it was maybe. Was he in? What was the last movie we seen? Was he in The Visit? He wasn't in The Visit. That was.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. Trying to think. Unless he was just like in a. When they went to the town, maybe he was just walking around or something like an
Maybe.
extra. But yeah, I don't
We're
remember
gonna have
seeing
to
him.
look that up.
Yeah. So there he goes back, and then Lady Raven's talking about their dream girl, whatever like that. Dreamer girl.
Dreamer Girl, yeah.
And then she actually shows it's gonna be Riley. But at first, actually, the uncle goes up to Josh Hartnett's character and grabs him by the shoulder. And then Josh Hartnett like flips out and grabs him and like turns his head. He's about to
Yeah.
like attack him. And then it finds out it was the uncle saying, hey, you guys are, picked to be Dreamer Girl. So they give him badges, and then they actually about to go backstage, but they get stopped by the police. And then we see the uncle saying, hey, these guys are, these two are good. And he gives them the story, and then they let them backstage.
Yep.
And then a funny part is when Riley's on stage with Lady Raven, we see Jodie and the daughter, Jodie and her mother, finding out that was Riley on stage.
Yeah.
And they're like super upset.
They're like,
Like,
what? How can that be?
yeah.
How is that possible?
Yeah, and
The jealousy
and
is
she's
shown with them.
yelling at her mother. They're like arguing and stuff like that. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. It was.
Yeah.
I'll give it props to that.
Yeah.
So she's up there dancing with Lady Raven. And then they
Ooh.
finish that, and then they're about to walk down, and the profiler's coming, and there's a girl about to pass out. So the dad Cooper picks up the girl and brings her backstage so he can avoid the profiler. And the stage manager or whatever she was, she's like, oh, you're an angel sent from heaven, blah blah blah. So kind of you, wish there's more people like you.
Yeah. I wonder if things were cut from this movie, because during that, he sees that when they're like standing backstage a little bit, they see that I call it Black Raven, Lady Raven, she was using an inhaler, and he paid attention that she was using an inhaler at one point.
I don't remember.
And then the other guy, the gay guy, what's his name? I don't know, the
that
singer.
guy, yeah.
They had an argument saying he was lactose intolerant and stuff like that.
Yes, I remember.
So I thought he was gonna, use those things, So maybe that was in the movie, but they cut it out or something.
Maybe.
Yeah. And then he asks, after all that, he, helps the girl and all that. They asked I guess it was the like promoter. I don't even know who she was, the manager or whatever. He asked, hey, can we leave out the back?
Yep.
When it's over, can we leave out the back way? She was like, yeah, sure. That's when I was saying when they're backstage, and then the gay guy stares at him while he's walking past.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Once again, I thought maybe it was cut it off. Maybe he was gonna, go to the guy and like arouse him and stuff like that, just to use that to get out.
Yeah.
'Cause maybe it was cut out. I have no idea.
And then he's listening to the walkie-talkie again, and he learns that they're checking everyone, that there's 20,000 people there,
Yeah.
and only 3,000 of them are men.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
That they're gonna recheck everyone. They said, even the workers,
Even the employees.
Yeah. So he's like, holy crap, that's not gonna work again. And then they start to leave. They're gonna walk out the exit and backstage and find out there's multiple cops there, and they're gonna be checking IDs and stuff, even just to leave.
Yep.
And then they see Lady Raven walking by, and he's like, "Oh, can I talk to you about, can I talk to you for a second?" And then she goes in the room with him, and he's like, "Hey, I just want to talk to you about his daughter's condition," and saying he was was thankful and all that stuff. And then he goes, "Yeah, because he says they were looking for him." And she was like, "Huh? Wait, what?" And then he shows her the video.
Yep.
Of the guy.
She's like, "Do you know how fast you can die from carbon monoxide?"
Yeah. He says he will let him live if she would get him out, them both out. And he was like, "Hey, would you either let me go free or let this guy die? You choose." So I'm thinking like, okay, they're gonna use that. All right, fine. He did that way, which is kind of dumb. He could have just said, "Hey, let us go with you."
And she could have knocked the phone out of his hands and yelled for help.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It could have been a lot of stuff could have happened in that scene, and then there.
She could have knocked it out of the hands. That guy could have lived. She could have yelled for help. They would have gotten the phone, and he would have survived.
Yeah. Even when they're walking by the police, she could have said, "Hey," and then grabbed his arm or something, because I'm sure
him from doing it. Yeah. There's so many different things that could have happened. It just.
Yeah. Even him, like a lot of things he could have done. He could have been pushing the whole leukemia thing. Hey, she's starting to flare up. You think you can drop us off to our car or something like that?
Yeah,
just something like that, just to get past security. Because she already thinks you guys are good, so why not just use that to escape?
They could have done that. Then they could have built up with the wife a little more.
Yes, you had to build up with the wife. You had to show the wife early on, all throughout the film, to build that stuff.
Yeah.
Or showing like the wife learning more about him or something like that,
Yeah, like flash to her.
Yeah.
Learning about him in the household or something like that. Could have done something.
Yeah.
So Lady Raven says the three of them are clear to go. So they all leave the stadium. They hop in the limo.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "You could just drop us off at the near corner." And she's like, "No, how about we drop you off at your house? What's the address?"
Yeah.
And Riley calls the mom. The mom's like, "Can we please go meet him?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yep." And then he's like, "Oh, the address is 301 Moulton Street or whatever."
All this stuff, I didn't like any of this stuff.
He gave it away so easily.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh.
He could have said, "No, we're okay. We're just gonna leave right here. Sorry, we can't. You can't take us home. Our car is still here, so you can't take us home because my car is still here. You easily could have said that.
Easily.
You could have just waited till they went to a stop sign or red light and just hopped out. Like
exactly. Once again, so many opportunities missed.
Yeah. So yeah, they ended up going to the house.
And she meets the family.
Yeah.
And they invite her in. And he threatens Lady Raven.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, if you do anything, he dies. To push of a button.
Yeah.
And she's like, but I'm just going to sing a song. Can I play the piano? So she plays the piano and sings a song. Riley's mouthing along. Mm-hmm. And then Lady Raven grabs his phone and runs to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And Cooper's freaking out. He's banging on the door. "Give me my phone back." While Lady Raven's on the phone with the guy Spencer, and she's like, "Are you okay? Where are you?"
Mm-hmm.
And she got details about where he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went live and she asked people. This was just ridiculous.
Yeah, this was dumb.
And she's like, "Does any of my fans know this location with a statue that's broken and a red door or an orange door or something like that?"
They found the thing in like 30 seconds. Like come on.
How would anyone recognize that from a park?
Yeah.
And they said that, and they're like, "Well, go there immediately."
Yeah. And this dude is banging on the door, on a bathroom door that he can easily kick it.
Yeah.
Think about that. Most bathroom doors are not solid. They're, on the cheaper side. easily put a foot to that damn thing and go right through it. You know.
I almost feel like he didn't want to do it because he didn't want to set off his wife or something like
He
that.
was, but you hear him yelling and screaming. They're fighting in the back.
Yeah, I know, but I just feel like I don't know. Or maybe it was his OCD thing or something like that.
I know. Yeah,
He
maybe.
does end up breaking in. I mean, he doesn't he pick the lock?
No,
or something?
he goes and get the key.
Oh, he gets the key.
Yeah, but
That's
he
what
could
it was.
easily just kick the damn door in. I don't know.
Well, anyway, he goes and gets the key and comes in the bathroom and grabs her, and he's walking her, and he's showing signs of OCD. He fixed a towel in there. He fixed a tennis racket when they're in the garage and stuff like that. I guess he locked his family in Riley's room, right?
I think they just left. Oh no, they were locked in the room or something like that.
They were locked
not
upstairs.
locked in the room. Like they just went in the room to get away from him or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. Yeah.
And then
So he locks himself. So they go to Riley's room, and he goes in the car, and his family's coming out while he's in the car. He's about to leave from the garage, and he sees them, and he's like, "Oh, honey, don't forget so and so, sweetie, don't forget so and so," and then locks himself in the house, and the whole house gets surrounded by police. And you see him at the pantry, and he's clearing out the pantry, and then you later find out there was a tunnel he used to escape.
Yeah.
And then so he escaped, and then he's dressed up like the SWAT, like a SWAT team member.
Yeah.
And he handcuffs Raven to the rail in the limo, and drives away.
Yeah. Just and so they're driving away, and somehow they pick the busiest road and the most crowded road, and is people all over this place. They go into straight up traffic. They're sitting there,
Yeah.
and then she is freaking pulling on the pole trying to break it. He for some reason doesn't hear that.
Yeah, I know, right?
He doesn't hear that. She eventually breaks it open, rolls the window down, and hey, it's me. And then everyone's like, oh my God, that's Lady Raven. And then they
Yeah.
surround the car. Police show up.
She gets free.
Yeah.
Cooper escapes. You
Yeah.
see him walking down the street.
Before we go to the next scene, what would have been a good idea? A good twist for the M. Night Shyamalan movie?
What?
So when Lady Raven goes to the house, she meets the family. All right.
Yeah.
And then she goes in the let me say maybe she goes in the bathroom, takes the phone, she goes on Instagram Live and tries to find the guy, right? Maybe
Yeah.
she does find the guy and the guy escapes. She walks out. The kids are locked up upstairs. Him and the mother are there. Come to find out the mother knew he was the butcher, 100% fine with it. Or maybe she helps it. Maybe she helps. Maybe she is. Maybe they're both the butcher and they do
Yeah.
it together. That would have been
something.
Now it's her trying to fight for them, trying to get out the house. Takes the kids and finally escapes the house or something after fighting them or something like that.
Yeah.
They've been a little bit better. Just it was better than what we got.
Yeah. They had a lot of opportunities that were missed.
Yeah. Oh, there's a couple other dumb stuff too. I hate it, but all right, let's go.
So Lady Raven ends up driving to where Spencer was. She meets him. She hugs him.
Yeah, she hugs him and then hugs the girl who found, the one who actually found Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it switches back to his wife ended up staying in the house. The cop's like, oh, you can go with your children. She's like, no, I don't want to be forced out of my house.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, we'll have 2 cruisers parked outside your house at all times. I'll be watching you. And then Cooper somehow managed to find his way back into the house. And he was talking about how good he is at lying. And he takes off his shirt and he folds it up in an OCD fashion.
Yeah. I lost my thought. Hold on. Oh
And
wait.
then
Okay.
she's like, "Oh, let's have a piece of cake for good times." And he's like,
Oh
"No
yeah.
knives." So they have a
Yeah.
piece of cake. They eat it. He devours his
I
slice.
100% knew what was up when she gave him that cake. Just to let you know, I 100% knew. I thought she actually poisoned him. I didn't think she just gave him. She drugged him. I thought it was like, oh, she definitely poisoned him. It's just it made it a little obvious that
Yeah, yeah,
that cake had something to do with it. That
yeah,
she knew, and it's just using that cake. But here's the thing, though. Here's the weird thing. That cake was sitting there for that long, and maybe Riley could have ate that thing, not knowing that it was drugged. Because think about it, it was only one piece in there. I don't
yeah.
know.
Oh well.
Yeah, but he's talking to her, and
And that's how she's explaining how
yeah,
she found a ticket stub, and she knew you were gonna be at the concert and stuff like that. So she called in a tip. So she left the ticket stub at the place.
yeah. So pretty much, she was saying that she thought he was cheating, and then she realized he wasn't. But then she ended up following to some apartment, and then when she went there, like it was nothing there. It was all clean. And then I guess I don't know where she thought that he was it. I guess by the fact so she knew he lied about something.
Yeah.
And she was so upset that he lied so good to somebody. And she was like, "Oh my god, he's a really good liar. Like
Yeah.
holy crap. What else is he lying about?" So she decides to leave a piece of that receipt to the concert in the apartment and then calls a tip in saying, "Hey, I think the butcher is here. I think he lives here. Here's here's go here." And then they find the receipt.
Yeah.
And then um
And then he's saying how he feels such rage towards her.
oh yeah, and that
And
he's
it's gonna end in a murder suicide.
he's saying he's super angry because he won't be able to see his kids because of her. So he
Yeah.
shows that he still loves his kids. He's saying because hey, I'm gonna kill you and then I'm gonna kill myself. So I'm really upset. I'm not gonna be able to see my kids anymore. Um,
And then we find out
Yeah.
that she put stuff in the pie.
yeah,
And
and
then
it's
he sees the lady again in the doorway.
yeah,
And he walks towards her. And then he gets tasered.
yeah, because it's the profiler, but he sees his mother. So
Yeah.
obviously he has mother problems, and I guess he was like abused by his mother or something like that. So that's the whole reason why he's a serial killer, because he has mother problems, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he sees his mother talking to him. So he's like, I forgot exactly what he's saying. Like, oh, it's okay now. I forgive you, or something like that. And then he's walking towards her. This part got me upset. So he walks into the room. He gets tasered, right? Cop
Yeah.
taser him. Boom, tasered. He, no problem, pulls it off. So he's super strong, right?
Yeah.
Pulls it off, and then he gets tasered again. Pulls it off, no problem. He jumps on top of a cop, starts putting his thumbs in the guy's eye.
Yeah, I know.
So the police, instead of shooting him, which they should have done, he's killing this guy, one of the cops. He's literally killing him by putting his fingers in his eyeballs. They tase him again. Like, what?
Why would you tase him again? Obviously, twice it did not work.
Shoot
But
this
you
man.
did it again.
Yeah, why are you not killing him? He should be dead after he's putting his thumbs in this guy's eye.
Yeah.
So they end up tasing him. That's when it finally works. I think they had to tase him multiple times. And then he gets tased by the profiler. Her tase puts him down. Then we see him. He gets locked up. They lock him up. And then while they're walking to the police van, his kids show up. Riley comes, hugs
You
them.
forgot to think about the bike.
No, oh yeah.
The bike
Right.
happened first.
Happened first. Okay, so he picks up the bike, showing his OCD. He sees the bike fall. He picks it up, and then he walks away. And then that's when Riley comes, gives him a hug, and then the mother is like, "Hey, get away!" Hey, and then she runs away from him. Then hugs the mother, gets in the police car, and then
It pans over at the bike.
Yeah.
And it's
they show
missing
him
a
a spoke.
spool.
Yeah.
A spoke?
Yeah, spoke.
Spoke. It's missing a spike. Spoke. If I can say the word.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the police van and it shows him with the spoke.
Yeah, he pulls
He
it
pulls
out.
it out of his sleeve and he's unlocking the handcuffs.
Yeah. And then he smiles at the camera. So for him to pull that spoke off, it got to be kind of loud. I was watching this with my wife. She was like, "How the cops didn't notice that he pulled that damn thing off? Those are pretty tight. It probably make a noise when you pop it out."
Right there.
Yeah.
How did they not see it?
Yeah, yeah. Another dumb thing.
And then it shows the guy from the stand.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, that's Cooper. That's Cooper."
Yeah.
He's like, I helped the butcher, and I ain't talking to no one.
Yeah, I ain't talking to no one at work no more. I thought that was funny. That was funny.
Good,
yeah, that was a good ending. I like that part at least. But yeah, that whole, like I said, they could have made maybe put the mother in. Maybe the mother is a part of it. That's a good twist.
Yeah,
maybe
that would've
she's
been a
the
good
butcher
twist.
as well. They're both the butcher.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I didn't. So his wife. I mean, M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. What's her name? Saleka. She's not really a good actor.
No.
She's not really a good actor. Like I like keeping her as this Lady Raven singer, but just as a background character, she's just the singer in the concert. That's fine. I'm 100% fine with that. But the whole situation with her, going against him and taking the phone and all this, I just did not like that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, what would you rate this movie?
I'm giving this movie 2.5.
I was gonna do 2.5 also.
Oh, yeah? Okay. I'm giving it 2.5. Could have been 3 if they nailed the ending or the half of the movie, but 2.5, yeah. Could have been better.
Yeah, there was a lot of flaws. Like I
Yeah.
said, only the concert part was the good part.
Yeah.
That's why if you notice when I was naming things I didn't like, it was everything after the concert.
Yeah, he did a good job until he got out of the concert. Even right to the almost almost to the out of the concert, like right there is just it went all downhill after that.
That's
And
how
it's
you
kinda
knew it was gonna
dumb.
be bad
Yeah.
for the rest of it.
I want the whole movie to be in the concert, and then either he gets out at the end or he doesn't get out at the end.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, they kind of made it dumb at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So, yeah, that was Trap, guys. Let us know your thoughts. Did you like it? Did you not? Did this come out straight to Netflix or?
It was in movie.
No, it was in the
theaters.
theaters. Okay. I thought was it a dual release? Was it theaters and digital or?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. No.
I'm not quite sure.
But I remember seeing this trailer. It's like, oh, that's interesting. I
Yeah.
like this concept. It's a good concept. He just screwed up the ending.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. So.
They had a good idea.
Yeah,
Really
it's
good
definitely
idea.
original. Good idea, definitely. And I think Josh Hartnett plays that good, like he did a good job in this, like the serial killer, because I remember in the movie, the name of this movie, the comic book movie that he's in, he plays like a serial killer in this movie. Oh my God, I can't think of it, but he played like a little quick scene where he was a serial killer. And he was like, oh, that's really cool. Josh Hartnett as like a killer. And he was like super sly and all that. So maybe that's where he got the idea for this.
Maybe.
Something City. Sin City. Sin City.
Ah.
So he was in that. He was like in a split second, maybe like a 10-minute scene. They're showing him as he was loving up on this girl and all this stuff. And all of a sudden he kills her. So I was like, oh, this is really cool. Maybe that's why he got the idea from Josh Hartnett as the serial killer. But yeah, guys, let us know what you thought of this movie. Did you like it? Did you not? What do you thought about once they left the concert? Let us know in the comments. So yeah, guys. So make sure you rate and follow us. And how many stars?
5 stars, guys.
Yeah.
Please give us 5 stars. We're trying to grow.
Yes, guys. We're definitely trying to grow. Also, if you have any comments, suggestions, you can email us. What's our email?
Podcast What the Real
Yes.
at gmail.com.
Yes, at gmail.com. Also, guys, if you want to check us out on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel we're trying to grow. So make sure you go there. Make sure you like and subscribe to What the Roll Podcast on YouTube. And yeah, guys. So thank you for listening. And yeah, if you have any other suggestions of what movie we review next, let us know, and we'll definitely do it. So yeah, guys. We'll catch you on the next episode. Peace out.
Bye.